Okay, welcome back, race fans. It's time for another exciting round of Flat Track Canada racing down here in Welland, Ontario for round number 3. Now, Welland's a clay-based track. It's a little bit different from our half-mile cushion, so this is going to change things up in the points this weekend. So before we get into it and we get the show really rolling, let's go down to the pits and make our way around and see who's all here.
All right, everybody, making our first stop down here in the pits today for round number 3 here in Welland. Stop by with none other than Dave Pouliot, the Kawasaki Motovenia rider out of Quebec. Now, Dave, last round at Paris, it just seemed like you were set on a set of rails and you were flying around that track. Tell us a little bit about, what you were doing with that JPR motor to get around that track a little easier.
Yeah, it was a rough track there, but with John, we made some modification on the bike. We played a lot with the suspension, and the bike was just going really well on that deep stuff, going the corner and exit really well. We just made some modification in the practice. After we keep it like this, and it was perfect. Just be on the gas, be aggressive and smooth in the same time, and be really fast like.
Well, I believe so. Every time you see you come down that straightaway there, I think we only heard it go, da, 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 and you let off for about half a second. But it was an amazing ride, so congratulations on getting that win. Now we're changing pace and things here. We're down in Welland. It's a clay track. We saw you out here last weekend. You haven't really rode Welland that much. What's your expectations today with it being a clay track and not having that cushion to actually help you slow down in the corner?
Yeah, it's really different, but last weekend we come here, we finished last, doesn't matter, we're just learning about the track, learning about the bike on those tracks, so it was good, practice a lot, and for today we just want the best finish I can. A top 5 will be really good for me, keep the more point for the rest of the season to stay on the top.
Fair enough. Well, we wish you the best of luck down in Lyman when you head down there. Now, obviously, there's lots of people helping you out, so give some love out to those sponsors.
Yeah, I just want to thank John Parker who building my motor, he doing everything my stuff, and the bike are working really well. My dad with his company putting a lot of money in my race program. Motovani or just pay for the bike, so that's really a big help. Bring with the Magic Screed and Gerard Patat Fit, who are giving me a lot of things this summer. Also want to thank GTR, MD Distribution, 6D Helmet to keep me safe on the track, for my boobs and Def Family, and all the other person who are with me, like my family and my friend.
Awesome. So keep an eye out for that number 16 rider, Dave Pouliot, out on the track.
Now, as Aaron Hesmer takes care of the opening ceremonies down here in Welland, we're going to make our way over and talk to a young American rider.
Here with a young rider, the number 32, Dallas Daniels. Dallas, an American rider, coming up to the Canadian circuit, really enjoying yourself up here and fitting very well in the intermediate class, getting a couple podiums already this season. We're out here at Welland today. It's a clay track. This is more of your forte. Tell us what you're excited about today.
Well, yeah, most of our tracks up in the States are clay tracks. We have some cushion tracks, but most of the tracks out here are cushion. I hear this is the only one on the circuit, so I hear a bunch of people saying that, they don't really like the track because most of these are cushions, but I think this will really suit my style today, and I'm really looking forward to it.
So we're definitely going to be hoping to see you up on that podium for sure.
Yes, for sure.
All right. Well, being up here in the Canadian circuit and being a younger rider, what is it that you like most about being up here in Canada?
Well, it's definitely really different. They run their stuff sort of the same, but there's also a bunch of different stuff that they do. But it's cool being one of the younger riders. Everyone's really nice to us. That it's really kind of our first time. It's kind of an experience. We've been up here a few times, but everyone's just really cool to us and letting us kind of do our learning experience, and it's really been a good experience.
Well, we enjoy having everybody come up and experience the Canadian circuit. Now, the last thing I want to talk to you about, you got tons of people helping you out. Tell us who they are.
Well, the one that's really helping me is Huey Robinson, HHM Racing right here. And he owns this huge motorhome, and he's been driving us around everywhere, letting me go to all these races, paying for a bunch of stuff. Fat Boy Racing, Red Organic, my dad's the one who works on my bikes. 6D Motion Pro, Kirkland Racing, Vans Yamaha. Kirkland Racing is actually one of the new ones that has jumped on with us. Larry Davis, he builds all the motors and stuff. Hart Racing, he's James Hart. He's really been helping us out, and that's anyone else who I forgot. Just thank you.
Well, we're really looking forward to seeing you grow up here in the Canadian circuit, and we're always watching you down on Fans Choice when you're down in the States. So keep an eye out for 32 in the intermediate class, Dallas Daniels, out on the track.
Okay, it's time for every race fan's personal favorite. We're going to have the Wascam Hot Lap. We're going to strap on our Wascam onto Cody Marentet, the number 112 machine. In the intermediate class, you can see he's following Dustin Brown around the track here. It's a really smooth surface. When it dries up, it tends to get a little bit slick. A little too much water, it also gets slick. So you got to find that middle ground in between both things. So the Welland County Speedway track maintenance team always doing a great job. So Cody's going to run a 19:33 around here, but expect those times to drop.
All right, stopping through in the pits here. Ran into Kurt Beeger, Mr. Honda himself, because this guy has got everything red that you could imagine. Kurt, having a pretty good season so far this year. Tell us about what it's been like for you with the new team.
New team's awesome. I have a pit tootsie now and everything. Jody's girlfriend's been fantastic. Jody's riding good. Doug's riding good. Steve's riding good. Brody's riding good.
Yeah.
How do you not like that?
Well, I mean, tell us what it's like having Jody come from superbike racing and transitioning into the flat track circuit. I mean, obviously you guys are working at communication skills really well, because Jody seems to be podium up on the box and leading the charge at the front of the pack.
Yeah, actually he caught on very quickly. Just had to change the bike around a bunch for him. He rides a little different than most of us because he's kind of a road racer. But I mean, he's losing his bad habits from road racing, and he's actually sitting properly, moving his body around, and seems to be getting around really well.
Well, with that being said, Jody in contention this year for intermediate?
Sure, I would say so.
Okay, well, and then moving on to Brody. Brody Buchan, riding phenomenal. He already got his first DTX win of the year. Being the youngest kid in the class, what's the satisfaction for you seeing the younger generation of riders come through you and learn from you?
Well, it's actually it's really good because I watched Brody back when he was riding in the media, got himself hurt in that. So then he wanted to ride expert the following year. I said, I don't think you're quite ready to ride expert. You should ride a framer for a year first. So I just took him on last year, and off we went and just kind of grew him up in that, and then watch him succeed, and winning both classes last year was really, really good. And starting off this season, first race out, winning already, she's good.
Okay, and then the final thing we're going to talk about while we're down here in Welland today too, we got someone from the team that's coming out. The number 26 machine is Steve Beatty. Steve doesn't really ride here that often. What'd you have to do to get Steve ready here for today?
Well, actually, he was got me ready. He was telling me what he wanted on the bike and how he wants the engine to act and that, and he's pumped. He wants to come out and show these boys what he can do.
All right, well, definitely keep an eye out for all those KBR bikes here today, all the Hondas. Going to be flying around the track and hopefully getting up on that top spot here on the podium.
Okay, let's not waste any time and jump right into our first main event of the night. It's the DTX Intermediate Class, 12 laps, and we got a handful of riders battling it out. Jody Christie leading the pack into the first corner. Jesse Isherwood getting in there with Jody bar to bar, goes out a little bit outside, loses traction from that groove. Now, the groove tends to get really, really nice towards the end of the night. You can already see that it is starting to get black. You know, these guys are going to be wailing into these corners. And the tricky thing about Welland is you're not actually supposed to be chopping on the throttle as hard as you would it on a half-mile cushion. You got to be really gentle. Roll it on in, roll it on out. You start breaking that rear wheel loose, you're going to either burn it off or you're going to find yourself on the outside. You can see Jesse coming around the outside there. He may have done that already. He heated up his tire too much, so he's going to have to cool it down a little bit and make his way back down to the inside groove. Jody Christie leading the pack around. You got Justin Crum on the 7.4 machine, Welland native there, running the track a lot, followed up by Dustin Lambert. Dustin always doing a great job. Dustin actually won both the races here last year. Shane Corbeil following him around. Cody Marantet, he strapped on with the last cam earlier in the day, doing a great job there as well too. Dustin Brown kind of in the mix in between third spot and fifth spot. Dustin Lambert making a move down on the inside of Justin Crum. He's got his sights set on Jody Christie. Jody riding for the KBR team, doing a great job this year. Bentley Thistlethwaite and I believe that was Dallas Daniels. They're kind of duking it out. Lambert coming around the inside corner here, catches the coping. Justin Crum goes over him, hits the wall. We're going to go to our red flag restart here. Dustin looks like he's okay. Unfortunately, Justin did get injured and had to go be taken off the track. On our staggered restart here, Dustin Brown getting a good start. Shane Corbeil going down to the inside. Brown challenging Jody Christie, taking that number one spot away from him. So, you know, Christie's got to do everything he can to catch back up. Dallas Daniels sitting in the fifth spot there. Cody Marantet just ahead of him. So as these guys make their way back around the track, Brown getting a little bit out sideways, opening the door up for Jody Christie. Brown got to check up a little bit here. He's got to get back on the inside of Christie if he wants to keep up in that top contention to get up on the podium. Jesse Isherwood trying a different line, going right back out to the outside, maybe trying to get around a couple guys. Make up some ground here. Jody Christie followed by Dustin Brown. We got Shane Corbeil and Dallas Daniels, who we spoke to earlier, duking it out. Daniels takes Corbeil on the inside. We're going to skip ahead to 2 laps to go because nothing really changed. Jody Christie leading Brown, followed up by Daniels. Daniels has got his sight set on catching up to Jody here. It's anyone's game with 2 laps to go. This is a track. If you make one simple mistake or you get outside of that groove, you will be sent backwards immediately. So Jody Christie coming around here for the last lap. Daniels almost trying to make a move down there on the inside of Brown. Brown doing everything he can to hold on here. Losing that rear wheel a bit coming out of the corner. That opens up the door for Dallas Daniels. Dallas is running out of time here. I think this is going to be pretty much called, but we're going to have Jody Christie come across the line first, followed by Dallas Daniels and then Dustin Brown. We're going to go to a quick commercial break and be right back after Jody goes out for his victory lap. Okay, time for our DTX Expert race. We got 15 laps and everybody's ready to go here. Heading on down into the first corner. Doug Lawrence dive bombing on in ahead of the pack there. Don Taylor working the outside line. These guys are going to be going bar to bar, heading back down into corner 3 and 4 here. Doug there on the inside of Don. These guys got to be careful because they got a hot pack right behind them. They got a fistful of riders just itching at the bit to get up and get riding with them there. So as we come around here for lap 2, Don still in the lead, followed by Doug. Brad Hazel, the number 41 American rider, kind of switching things up coming up to Welland this weekend. Coming around here, coming off of corner 4, you can see Don still in the lead. Doug working that inside line, kind of pushing Don outside a bit there. Brad Hazel followed by Brody Buchan. Buckin really adapting to this track after last year, winning the intermediate class, doing a great job studying the track on board here. Wascam with Doug. You can see Don goes out to the outside, loses a little bit of traction. Doug doesn't take any bit of a chance of waiting, gets on the inside of Don. Don now have to fight back, working himself down from that middle groove down to the inside to try and get any bit of traction that he can get. So now Don knows he can't let Doug get out of his sights. Doug is a frequent rider here. A couple riders into the coping. Dave Pouliot goes over it. Sean Hoy goes over it. The coping's on the track. One of the track officials pulling it off the track before these guys come back around. So now what it seems to be is a battle for the third position. We got 5 riders duking it out here. You got Brody Buckin holding off Mike LaBelle, Brad Hazel, Doug Beatty, and Tyler Seguin. So coming around lap 5, we're going to switch it up and go ahead a couple laps here with 2 to go because these guys didn't seem to let off. Hazel faded back, but now LaBelle challenging Buckin for that third spot. Doug Beatty, kind of a little bit of a weapon here. This guy knows how to get around the track really good. Tyler Seguin, not sure if he's having bike setup issues. He's kind of fallen back a little bit off that pack as well. Doug leading the charge coming around, followed up by Don, but there's a little bit of a good-sized gap going around here as Buckin still holding off LaBelle, Beatty, and Seguin, doing everything he can, but it's going to be Doug Lawrence taking the checkers in the DTX expert class, followed by Don, and Brody taking that third spot to close it all out. Commercial break, be right back for the open intermediate race. Okay, time for our second last race of the night. We're going to be waiting for the green light here. Open intermediates are off and running down to the first corner. Dallas Daniels diving down to the inside of Lambert and Corbeil to lead the charge around corner 2 here. You can see Sam Magnon. He's doing everything he can to get up there in that top 5 as well, too. Now, these guys are going to start gapping out and getting in the single file, but it's always the first, second, third lap before everybody starts thinning out, but Daniels already breaking away from the group. Doing a great job. Corbeil coming off of a little bit of a wild crash from one of the provincial rounds. You can see Cody Maritet coming up here with his Wascam in the top right corner because Tyler Brown gets in the back of Sam Magnon and high sides his bike. This is going to bring out a red flag. We're going to go to a complete restart. We believe Tyler is okay because he did get back up on his bike and restart the race. So on our complete restart, here we go. Right back down into it again. Corbeil leading the charge now, coming out of corner 2. Daniels sitting right behind him, followed up by none other than Jody Christie. Now we got Lambert, Bentley Thistlewaite, and Sam Magnon. They're all battling it out for the 4 spot, so these guys are going to come around corner number 4 here. It's Corbeil, Daniels, Christie. Christie makes a move to the inside of Daniels. And you can see Sam Magnon tucking it up right up behind him. Dustin Brown getting a little sideways there. Bentley Thistlewaite outside of the groove. He's dropping back a little bit. It's so important that you stay down low on this track and work that groove. You can see Daniels and Christie, they're battling it out now. Christie sitting in that second spot, got his eyes set on Corbeil. These guys are going to try and do everything they can. Skip ahead to lap 6, nothing really changes. Daniels making a move on the inside of Christie. He's going to be trying to force him wide. You can see Sam Magnon working that middle line, trying to get a little bit more of an arc. Now we got trouble because we got Corbeil dealing with Christie on the outside, Daniels on the inside. This makes a whole world of trouble because now Christie's going to try and stop Daniels. Doesn't work. Daniels gets down to the inside of Corbeil. These guys heading back down into corners 3 and 4 here. Daniels takes the lead. Christie trying to follow suit there and get on the inside of Corbeil. Doesn't work. Starts to drift a little bit wide. Sam Magnon sitting in that 4 spot. He's got his sights set on breaking into the top 3 here. You can see Dustin Brown, Dustin Lambert, and the rest of the field following closely in suit. Now with 2 to go, Daniel starts to gap out over the rest of the pack here. Corbeil has Magnon right on his back fender. Christie not too far off behind him too. It seems to be Dustin Lambert, actually, with that orange helmet, starting to sneak up behind the 4th and 5th position here. But it's going to be Daniel's race here. All he's got to do is be smooth and consistent for the rest of the race. Corbeil's got to try and shut the door on Sam here. Otherwise, he's going to be going back in the points. Coming off corner 4 here, it's going to be Dallas Daniels, the young American rider, followed by Shane Corbeil and Sam Magnon, and that's going to round out our top 3. Dallas is going to go for his victory lap. We're going to commercial break, and we'll be right back after this Open Expert walkout. Now, these guys, traditionally, you got a big crowd going on, a lot of hometown fans cheering these guys on. Always an exciting time. If you ever get the chance, come down to Welland County Speedway and watch a race. Everyone's favorite time of the night, it's the Open Expert race. We got 15 laps on the go here. We got a green light and heading down into the first corner. It's Doug Lawrence leading the whole field around corner 1 and 2. Don Taylor, Tyler Seguin following closely in suit. These guys are going to be going hard for the rest of the night here because these guys don't want anyone to break away from the pack. As soon as someone breaks away from the pack, they found their groove, they found their rhythm, and they got the track all to themselves. They'll pick whatever line that they want. Doug Lawrence followed closely by Don Taylor. Tyler Seguin working a middle line. We got Dave Pouliot out to the outside. Must have got lost up in the groove there, but it's Doug leading the charge back down into corner 3 and 4. Don and Tyler closely behind. We got the Beatty Boys battling it out for that 4 spot. Doug and Steve. Steve usually not really showing up to Welland races, not too much anymore, but he's riding that KBR framer, doing everything he can to hold on to that position over his brother. Now these two, you can bet that they're going to battle it out, and they're going to ride just as hard as the other one. Steve making a move, diving down to the inside of Doug, coming in really hot into corner 1 here. Gets up into Doug, and Doug gets forced off the groove, goes to the outside line. Doug clearly upset. You can see him wave his hand up in the air. Tucks back in behind a couple of riders there. Going to be trying to gun hard and hard charge right back up to the front of the pack. Steve Beatty now duking it out with Michael Bell. Mike getting almost into him as well too. So that 3rd spot is going to be having a bullseye on it here with those 2 riders trying to sneak up. LaBelle holding off Beatty, getting back down to the inside of him. Doug still leading the charge. Brandon Seguin right behind Steve Beatty there. Now we got Buchan, Hazel, and Doug Beatty actually coming around. Though a group of 3 of them, these guys are going to be working a little bit of a draft section here, getting feeding off one another. Skip ahead a couple laps. You can see Brandon Seguin capitalizes on a mistake that Steve Beatty made. Sneaks around him on that Sail Honda framer. Brandon really adapting to this bike too, doing a great job riding around and representing the Sail race team. So now he's got a hot topic right behind him because I don't think anybody wants Steve Beatty behind them. You know this guy's going to charge hard. Fast forward to the last lap, it's Doug Lawrence coming around corner 1 and 2 here. About a 15 bike length over Don Taylor, and a huge gap going back to 3rd spot with Mikey LaBelle and Tyler Seguin battling it out. But look who's snuck back up behind his brother. It is Doug Beatty. The guy charged all the way back. So Doug Lawrence going to be taking the 1st spot. Don Taylor followed in the 2nd. And Tyler Seguin holding off Mike LaBelle for that 3rd spot. We're going to catch up in the interviews after Doug goes out for his victory lap here with the checkered flag. And we're going to get a little bit of insight of what the track conditions were for everybody.
Okay, taking that to number 1 spot out here today, none other than the number 1 plate, Doug Lawrence out here at Welland for the 3rd round. Doug, track was good, bad? How did it go for you today?
It was good. I like racetracks when they're really slippery like this, and it was a tough week. You know, it was warm all week with, and today it was 30 degrees and lots of wind. So good for me. You know, some guys don't like this kind of racetrack. I do.
Fair enough. All right. Well, quick shout out to all the sponsors giving you a hand today.
Yeah, big thanks to Parts Canada, HJC helmets, Alpine Stars, Evans Coolant, Motion Pro, Vortex, K&N, John Briggs Motorsports, and I think that's it.
Right on. Well, and a extra special thanks for putting on that WAS cam today. So we got that onboard footage, which probably no one was ahead of you. So it's working out okay.
You can hear me talking to myself.
Oh, there we go. A full conversation. So taking that number 1 plate out here today, and the open expert is Doug Lawrence. Okay, one of the Welland natives out here, Tyler Seguin, the 22 machine. Tyler, had a good ride today, kept it up on 2 wheels. Tell us about it.
Yeah, my day was up and down. In practice, I felt good. My heat races, I didn't get a nice fit, like the finishes I wanted anyways. And then, to come out in the main and, finish the top 3 after the way my day started going, I'm pretty happy with it. I was running with the guys at first. I tried a few things to try and make some ground on them. It kind of put me back a little bit, but, once I lost that ground, we kind of stayed at the same pace. So, I'll definitely have, I think, something for them the next race. So we'll see you guys there.
Okay, Donnie Taylor out here taking that second spot here today. Tell us how it went for you.
Yeah, today this is not my expertise, this type of track. So, I knew it was going to be Doug's day today. And, the goal was to just try and do things to the bike to, stay with him. He was going really good today. And, we had some real tough setup issues with our bikes. So, we ended up switching tires, switching gearing, and basically took a real big risk for this main. And it worked out okay. It was probably the best the bike's been all day. But, like I said, it's a struggle for me when the track's like this. And, I'm happy to be in second place. It puts me into a pretty strong lead on the series for points. So, that's the ultimate goal is, grabbing second place points and, moving forward on to the next race.
Yeah, hunting down that number 1 plate again. You want to get that 3-peat going. Okay, so quick shout out to all those sponsors.
Yeah, I got to give a huge thanks to Jim Sale with Sale Racing, Yamaha Motor Canada, and Motovan Canada.
All right, and that's going to wrap up everything here in round 3. Where's round 4 going to be at?
We're going to be at Leamington, Ontario.
Right on. Okay, well, you heard it from Don Taylor, none other. So share it amongst your friends. Share the love. Flat Track Canada, always the best.